Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're completely reframing the entire human journey. Instead of just memorizing dates and names, we're going to look at our history as this massive, escalating story of accelerating energy capture. We'll trace exactly how we went from foraging out in the wild to building the insanely complex, hyper-connected modern civilization that we're living in right now. It's a story of survival, of discovery, and above all, just incredible exponential momentum.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're breaking down 300,000 years of history into 5 major eras. 1. The dawn of humanity. 2. The first great civilizations. 3. Empires and the Middle Ages. 4. Exploration and industry. And 5. The modern technological age. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1. The dawn of humanity. From foraging to farming. So, for nearly 300,000 years, anatomically modern humans pretty much just survived in nature. To put that into perspective, if you were to compress all of human history into a 24-hour clock, the agricultural revolution, which happened about 12,000 years ago, wouldn't actually kick off until 11:58 p.m. And it took until 3000 BCE, literally just mere seconds before midnight on our clock, for the very first cities to emerge. So yeah, we were a really slow-burning species for a remarkably long time. Okay, so let's dive into why that finally shifted. The transition from foraging to farming. Well, it wasn't just a change in what we were eating, it was a total energy revolution. By figuring out how to cultivate crops and domesticate animals, humanity suddenly generated this massive caloric surplus. And that surplus, it's the absolute game changer. It allowed populations to finally put down roots in one place, creating the essential foundation for permanent villages, specialized labor, the accumulation of wealth, and ultimately, complex society itself.
Which brings us to Section 2. The first great civilizations, the builders.
Now, geographic luck played a massive role in our early progress. If you look closely, you'll start to notice a real pattern here. Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, ancient China, they all independently forged these monumental civilizations. I mean, we're talking the first cities, magnificent pyramids, powerful kingdoms, and incredible inventions, all by leveraging major river systems, the Tigris, the Euphrates, the Nile. These rivers weren't just giant water fountains for drinking and farming. No, they were literally the world's first superhighways for trade, cultural exchange, and ancient administration.
Moving right along to Section 3, Empires and the Middle Ages, Expansion and Connection.
The really crucial takeaway here is that these classical empires didn't just conquer a bunch of land. They actually laid down the invisible, institutional scaffolding of modern society. You've got the Greeks pushing the absolute boundaries of philosophy, science, and democracy. Then the Romans engineered sprawling networks of roads and codified laws that we still reference today. And concurrently over in Asia, mighty empires like the Maurya, Gupta, and Han acted as these massive engines of culture and long-distance trade, really driving human knowledge forward across the board.
As we move into the Middle Ages, roughly 500 to 1500 CE, the world effectively shrank. Expanding trade networks started acting almost like a medieval internet, pulling all these completely disparate, distant lands into a connected web. We saw great monuments being erected, religions rapidly crossing borders, and incredibly, the very first universities were founded. For the very first time, we were truly systematizing human knowledge on a massive scale.
And that sets the stage for Section 4, Exploration and Industry, the Great Acceleration.
Starting right around the 15th century, the age of exploration triggered this massive, messy collision of human ecosystems. By charting out these new, highly unpredictable oceans, fearless explorers discovered totally new trade routes, permanently connecting continents that had literally been isolated from each other for millennia. This era sparked an unprecedented exchange of goods and ideas, and it fundamentally wired the globe for a whole new era of powerful European empires. And it was exactly that global wiring that directly sparked the Industrial Revolution. We suddenly unlocked fossil fuels to power massive steam engines, and that completely overhauled the fundamental realities of human labor. I mean, work shifted violently from the agrarian fields to the mechanized factory floor, and soon after that, extensive railway networks were being laid down, effectively connecting distant markets, and moving these newly mass-produced goods and the people making them way faster than ever before in history.
Now we hit Section 5, the modern technological age, rapid-fire progress.
The 20th century was, without a doubt, an era of profound extremes. Humanity endured the immense, staggering tragedy of 2 totally devastating world wars. Yet, those very conflicts acted as a brutal, high-pressure catalyst for technological leaps. In a shockingly narrow historical window,
We went from inventing the airplane and taking to the sky to engineering the very first computers, to eventually wiring the entire planet with a digital nervous system that we now call the internet. It's just wild to think about.
Just think about the sheer velocity of this progress for a second. 300,000 years of chipping stone tools and trying to master fire, and it all culminated in a single defining moment in 1969. Actual human beings leaving our atmosphere and walking on the moon. There is no way around it. It is the ultimate testament to the exponential runaway nature of human innovation.
And that incredible, accelerating journey brings us right to today. We are now a species that is more connected than ever before through deep, highly complex technological networks. But as you know, this hyper-connection brings hyper-responsibility. Global cooperation isn't just some form of diplomatic idealism anymore. It is the vital, absolutely mandatory prerequisite to build a peaceful, innovative, and sustainable future.
Because, let's be real, despite our constant upward trajectory, humanity faces unprecedented existential hurdles today. We are simultaneously grappling with the realities of global climate change, the persistent specter of global conflict, and incredibly deep-rooted inequality. These are planetary-scale problems, and they're going to require the exact same collaborative genius and relentless problem-solving that got us to the moon in the first place.
I think it all boils down to this perfectly captured thought. The history of the world is a story of survival, discovery, creativity, and continuous progress, showing how every generation has helped shape the world we live in today. It's so true, right? From the early foragers to the Roman road builders, all the way to 19th century factory workers, every single generation has basically stacked their bricks to build the reality that you and I get to inhabit right now.
So after 300,000 years of slow survival and explosive innovation, the baton is now firmly in our hands. If human progress is truly accelerating exponentially, well, the decisions we make in the next 50 years could hold more weight than the last 5,000 combined. It's a lot to take in. So what role will our generation play as humanity writes its next, fastest chapter yet? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and as always, keep exploring.